Hi everybody, this video is going to go over the instructions for Project 4. Project 4 is set up like every other project throughout this semester. So this video is going to be set up the exact same way. Let me go ahead and pull up the screen so you see exactly what shows up when you click on the assignment in Canvas. So as always, go over the overview. This project is going to cover two modules in particular, which is personality and social psychology. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns that aren't specifically addressed in this video or in the instructions or the rubric for the assignment, then please reach out to me no later than 5 p.m. on the Friday before the assignment is due. Do that via Canvas messaging or meet me in the office hours. Either or is fine. But if you respond or you send out a message later than that, you are not guaranteeing that you're going to get a response prior to the due date for the assignment. Now with this one, there is a little bit of a difference in that there is a link you have to go to take a test. So in this way, it's kind of similar to the project, the second project that we had during the semester where you had to go in and take that online test dealing with focus. And just like with Project 2, the link is located in the form itself, but I also included it here. It's just if you need it, if you're having problems with the link. So I'm going to go ahead, click on that project form. Again, it's going to pull up this page. You need to click on that kind of blue highlighted area or blue typed area here to actually download the form. Once you do, you'll have access to this. Step one, first thing you're going to do is you're going to go online to this website and do a personality test. Now, the personality test that you'll be taking is going to be a self-report inventory, and it's loosely based off of the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or MBTI, one of the most well-known self-report inventories for personality assessments. You can go to the link directly on here. You just hit Control and then click on the link. You can also cut and paste it into your web browser, or as I showed you in the actual form itself, or instructions itself in Canvas, there's also a hyperlink included there. Once you go there, it's pretty self-explanatory. It'll just be a couple questions that'll be asked. And it'll basically kind of give an example. Like it'll say, it's easy for me to make friends. And then it's basically a Likert scale, where it'll say, like, does that describe you most of the time, some of the time, a little bit, I don't know, it describes me almost not at all. So it kind of gives a sense of scale. I believe there's about 30 some odd questions on there, so it's not too much. At the end of taking the test, it'll give you your results. It'll consist of a 4-letter type, personality type. For example, mine is ESTP. So what I want you to do is when you get that results page, just like with Project 2, you're either going to do a screenshot on your computer, or you could even take a photo of it with your phone, and you're going to submit that results page in step 2. In addition to that, once you take that test and it gives you your type, it is going to also allow you to look up information about that type. It'll talk about an overview of your personality type. It'll talk about strengths. It'll talk about weaknesses. It'll talk about potential jobs or interests or hobbies that you maybe have. It'll even talk a little bit about relationships. There's actually dating sites that compare your Myers-Briggs Type Indicator personality type to try to match you with people who are compatible. So it's really kind of an interesting read. Read over your personality type. Step 3, in fact, that's what you need to do, right? Review the information provided on the website about your specific personality. Step 4, this is where we're going to start getting into the writing. So in the space below, please summarize what the site says about your personality type. Do you agree or disagree with this information? Do you think that this test was an accurate measure of someone's personality? Now, you can disagree, and I'll tell you right now, I mentioned my personality type is ESTP. I can tell you right now, the website mentions that people with that type of personality are usually in the military, they're usually like in law enforcement, as well as other types of professions. And while that is a little true in that I actually did used to work in those fields, that was a while ago. And what's interesting is the exact opposite type of personality, INFJ, is actually, if you look at the personality type for that, says the one that is best suited for counseling, for psychology, and for teaching. So put another way, according to this website, I have the absolutely wrong personality to do the jobs I do now. I disagree with that. So that would be something I disagree with. But that being said, I can tell you there's a lot that it says about my personality type, the ESTP, that I do agree with, that I do think is pretty accurate. So explore that. Talk about that a little bit. There's something you disagree with? That's fine. You can disagree with it. And remember, this test isn't meant to be like a full, detailed, in-depth analysis of your personality. It's really meant to be kind of like a snapshot, right? So snapshots aren't always fully detailed and accurate. They're broad strokes, general descriptions. So step 4 is 200 word minimum. Should be really easy for you to write that though. Step 5, which personality trait do you believe to be the most important one and why? Please only select one of the traits included in either the 5-factor model, so it's the big 5, that's the canoe or ocean, or you can select the hexaco models. Now, most traits kind of overlap. There's 1 or 2 that don't, but you can select one trait from either of the 2 models. Please also be sure to explain your answer thoroughly in the space below. So if you think extroversion is the most important trait, then talk about why you think that is. If you think conscientiousness or openness is, or even neuroticism, very maligned and kind of like misunderstood personality trait, you can talk about that too. That's totally fine. Just explain your answer. 200 word minimum for that. Step 6, what role have social relationships played in influencing your personality traits? This can include family, race, ethnicity, religion, friendships, and other elements of sociological influences. So we talked about the personality, now we're talking about social psychology. Talk about how these relationships have influenced you. And it is tons of, right? It's not just one. Your personality was shaped by your family. Whether it was good, bad, ugly, it was shaped by your family. Not entirely, but it was shaped by your family. Friends, especially friends that you had in high school. Interests you had in high school. If you happen to be part of a debate club or you're part of certain cliques, right? Like you were a jock, you were a cheerleader, you're the popular kid, you were a goth kid, you were the, whatever. Influence your personality. Even race, ethnicity plays a big role in the culture you grew up in. In the United States, certain traits like extroversion are usually more valued, even though they're not necessarily better than like introversion. But that's a cultural element. You look at other societies, they much more favor introversion. They view that as being the gold standard, what you should, kind of like strive for. So those are all important in influences. So you're going to talk about this. You're probably going to go over that 200 word minimum because there are a lot of influences. And once you get started on it, you're going to be like, wow, yeah, there really is. Step 7, this is where we're looking at the other element of this, right? So it's interesting because social influences on your personality or just social influences in general are reciprocal, right? The groups influence the individuals, but the individuals also influence the groups. So for step 7, what role does your personality play in influencing your social relationships? So in step 6, we're talking about how social relationships influence your personality. Now we're talking about how your personality influences those relationships. Would you have a friend or a romantic partner that had a drastically different set of personality traits from your own? They say opposites attract, but is it true? And if it's true, does it last? What role do you think this may play in enforcing group conformity? So this is the interesting part, right? Is that generally when we're part of a group, we kind of give a little bit of ourselves to try to fit in with that group. Sometimes that can just mean dressing differently, behaving differently, but in extreme forms, it can even mean thinking differently, changing your perspectives, your beliefs. In some cases, even changing or minimizing or enhancing certain parts of your personality. So that's what you're going to talk about for step 7. Last step on here is just that basic, thing I end every project with, where you're going to talk about the purpose of the project, what you learned from it, how it may have helped you in applying the terms or concepts, and then if you had any questions from the 2 modules that were covered in this project, which again is personality and social psychology. No minimum word count for that. It's just that you have to do it. Like with every other project, I'm going to go back to Canvas now. Once you're ready to submit it, you're going to click on that project submission. You're going to upload it into, hit start assignment. You're going to upload it into Canvas, click that box, hit submit assignment. You're going to definitely want to make sure you go into that grade book, check that little colored banner next to the project for assignment so that you can see the turn it in report, see if there's any issues with AI use or plagiarism. Hopefully not. If there is, fine. As long as you get it changed and you resubmit it prior to the due date, I'll not look into it. Wink, wink, right? But if you don't and you submit that and I go to grade it and I see that there was AI used or I see that there's plagiarism or anything like that, you're going to get a 0 for the assignment. So that's why it's really important for you to go in and double check that. As always, if you have any questions, anything I didn't explain fully in this video or in the instructions or in the rubric that's located down here, of course, reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you. Just make sure you do it prior to 5 p.m. on the Friday before the assignment is due. Take care, everybody. I'll talk to you later.